South Korea, Japan and the US have carried out joint air drill involving a nuclear-capable bomber. The exercise comes 3 days after North Korea tested one of its most powerful intercontinental ballistic missiles.
Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are campaigning in key swing states ahead of Tuesday's presidential election. Opinion polls suggest the race is among the most tightly fought in US history, and the outcome will depend on a handful of states. In other news, President Biden has welcomed a deal to end a 7-week strike by factory workers at the US aviation giant Boeing. It comes after staff accepted a 38% wage increase spread over 4 years.
Donald Trump is returning to the White House for a second term after defeating the Democratic candidate Kamala Harris, both in the popular and electoral college vote. Mr. Trump has said he now has an unprecedented mandate.
Donald Trump's victory was welcomed with enthusiasm by the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Arab leaders focused on the president-elect's assertion that he'll stop wars, not start them. Mr. Trump's win has caused nervousness in Ukraine and in NATO. He's made negative comments about the alliance in the past.
A senior advisor to the US President-elect Donald Trump has told the BBC that the aim of ending the war in Ukraine is about finding peace, not winning back territory. Brian Lanza said President Zelensky needed to acknowledge that Crimea had been lost to Russia and the priority of the United States was to stop the killing.
Russia has denied a US media report that Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump spoke by phone after Mr. Trump's election victory. Mr. Putin's spokesman called the report completely made up, but Mr. Trump's team neither confirmed nor denied the claim in the Washington Post.
Reports in US media suggest Donald Trump is planning to appoint Marco Rubio as his Secretary of State. Mike Waltz is expected to be the National Security Advisor. Both are known for their hard line against China.
Donald Trump has nominated the Fox News host Pete Hegseth to serve as America's next defense secretary. The president-elect has also confirmed that Elon Musk will lead a government efficiency department.
The US Republican Party is set to retain its majority in the House of Representatives, giving Donald Trump a clean sweep of Congress in last week's elections. Our news partner, CBS, says Republicans are projected to get the minimum of 218 seats.
The Chinese president has warned of the risk of a global economic descent into protectionism. Xi Jinping spoke at the APEC summit in Peru, apparently referring to Donald Trump's election win. The incoming US president has threatened tariffs of at least 60% on Chinese goods.
President Biden's decision to allow Ukraine to strike Russia using American long-range missiles has sparked an angry response from Moscow. The Kremlin spokesman said the move, which hasn't yet been formally announced by the White House, would make the conflict worse. Dmitry Peskov warned of a new spiral of tension.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has said Ukraine will never submit as the country marks 1,000 days since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion. In a video posted on social media, he said the country stood united.
A network of groups campaigning against landmines has condemned Washington's decision to provide anti-personnel mines to Ukraine. US officials say the mines would slow down Russia's advance, especially in the east. Unlike Russian landmines, these would become inert after a certain period.
The US Justice Department has proposed making Google sell its Chrome browser to break up its monopoly over online searches. The tech firm was found to be in breach of antitrust rules by a court in August. Google says the proposal will harm US global technology leadership.
Japan has expressed regret that South Korea will not be sending a representative to today's memorial ceremony honouring the victims of forced labour in Imperial Japan. The Foreign Ministry in Seoul referred to unspecified disagreements with Tokyo.
South Korea and Japan have held separate ceremonies to remember labourers forced to work at a Japanese gold mine during the Second World War. South Korea boycotted the Japanese event because Tokyo's chief representative at Sunday's ceremony had previously visited a shrine that honours Japanese war criminals.
China has warned that no one would win a trade war in response to Donald Trump's threat to increase tariffs on imports from China, Mexico and Canada. Mr. Trump said he'd introduce the measures on day one of his US presidency.
US lawmakers say 5 major American airlines made more than $12 billion in the last 6 years by charging customers what they describe as junk fees. A report by a Senate committee says passengers were charged to select seats or carry-on bags, making air travel more expensive.
China has confirmed reports that it carried out a prisoner swap with the US, exchanging 3 Americans detained in China for 3 Chinese nationals. The Foreign Ministry did not confirm the identities of the Chinese nationals.
시청해 주셔서 감사합니다. 다음 시간에 뵙겠습니다.